Hello, everyone. Welcome to RNN. This is the Royal News Network. I'm your host, Reminiscent.
And I'm Young Ice Tray.
This past month of July, we have had some exciting things happen here in the Bath, and we are very excited to share these great stories with you.
Now for our first piece. On Friday, June 24th, the British Armed Forces found themselves in a pitched combat during their first large-scale PvP conflict, Operation Avalanche. The extensive event was planned and orchestrated primarily by Command Sergeant Major Reminiscent and held well over 30 participants. The conflict consisted of an amphibious assault from the HMS Nightingale with the primary objective of the attackers to capture and hold three key points of interest on the island: a radio communications tower, a mobile convoy, and a large castle situated on the beachhead. While it was clear that the castle and the beachfront would prove a laborious task to overcome, a small unit of attackers flanked the stronghold and commenced their assault from an unguarded bay far south of the original engagement. After a strenuous 2-hour battle, the attacking forces were eventually forced to withdraw before managing to capture the castle. Those interested in participating in future operations can keep their attention towards both the public announcement channel within the British Armed Forces and the British Armed Forces Team Up calendar. And now, on to our weatherman, Mr. Grim Reaper. Mr. Grim Reaper, how's the weather in the Black Cat today?
Someone said the gamer word.
Alrighty then. Thank you, Mr. Grim Reaper. On to our next segment.
What's the gamer word? On July 1st, the British Armed Forces hosted a novel tournament, one based upon the combat prowess of the participants within the oil rig PvP map. Within this tournament, 10 teams of 3 faced off in a bracket-style event, with an additional secondaries losers bracket to give one team a chance to rise from the ashes. As we can see here, Team Bulletstorm, consisting of players Sergeant It Neons, Sergeant Ryu Nexo, and Sergeant Gallo, didn't pull any punches and was able to secure a clean sweep all the way to the finish line with 5 consecutive wins. However, it should also be mentioned that every team gave it their all, with a very real potential for Team INF to make a solid comeback victory from the losers bracket. As far as showing off one's skills are, Team Bulletstorm didn't walk away with just the gratification of first place. They were also awarded a custom-built PvP tournament trophy depicting a unique twist on a skull and crossbones design with 2 crossed L85A3s. While the tournament is now concluded, anyone wishing to participate in future events simply need to keep their eyes on the public events channel, where events of this caliber will be announced. Moving on from that lovely story, we have a very special guest today. Golly has been waiting to do this interview all week. I am very pleased to announce Sky Marshal TheCobDad.
Thank you, guys. So I'm here with the Sky Marshal TheCobDad. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come and answer some questions.
Of course. Always a pleasure to help out.
All right, so I've got some questions here that people have submitted over the past few weeks. So I'm going to start here with Yuzan. She asks, what is it like being an OF10?
In the beginning, I was very nervous. It's some big boots to fill, considering the others who I compare up against, and it definitely it had me on edge for a while, getting used to everything, especially since with obviously the Air Force being the smallest branch and it still being that, it was always worrisome that maybe I was doing something wrong. But it's just a matter of it takes time. But on the whole, I enjoy it. It means that I can take a step back and appreciate the group in so many different ways, as well as help out in lots of different aspects, helping out with all the different cores, seeing a lot of behind the scenes. So I very much enjoy it.
Absolutely. You love all those channels too, I'm guessing. Now being able to see all those.
Despite the fact that there's so many, I do try to read the ones, the important ones anyway. Most of them I try to read, but some of them, like General, for example, I definitely do not bother.
Absolutely. So the next one comes from Pola. They asked, what was the inspiration for your halo and wings?
Oh, yes. So the halo, as some people recognize from time to time, is from No Game, No Life. It's one of my favorite animes. There's a character, Jabril, who is a Flugel, I believe is the name of the race, but they're like an angel type beings, and they've got halos just like this one. The wings, on the other hand, aren't from Jibril. They've got very like natural feathery looking wings in the show that like come out from the hips. But these I just found on DeviantArt, and they fit the theme of being like cyber. So I just quite like them and found them there.
Awesome. Good to know. This next question comes from Troy C. And they ask, what can you tell us about the recent rumors regarding the third wing of the Air Force?
I don't know what the recent rumors are personally, but the current plans for the third wing, which I don't have a time frame for, would be a focus on helicopters and paratroopers. Things can change, of course, so that's not definitive, but those are the tentative plans at the minute.
It's always good to hear just a little tease. Sometimes you just give a little taste to see what's ahead. It's always nice.
Yes, coming soon, TM.
Yeah, soon TM. That's starting to be the new motto of everything in the group. So, next question comes from Primrose, and she asks, what was your most memorable event in the BAF and why?
Most memorable event. It won't be an obvious one. We've obviously hosted such massive, grand scale events that have been really big for the group and our development, as well as, giving away such big prizes. So a lot of people think it might be one of those, especially the recent Fab Summer Festival, which was a whole lot of fun. But the event that means most to me, that is the most memorable, was our first promotion ceremony. Right in the beginning of the BAF, because I'd obviously helped found the BAF in the beginning. But for the first week or so, I wasn't able to be active because of college. I was just busy at the time. And in the beginning, there was a lot of worry that maybe we made a mistake, maybe we didn't do the right thing, maybe this would all just fall to the ground around us, But that first promotion ceremony, I remember showing up and almost being brought to tears, because it was the first big moment that really hit me, that things were going well, that the group was working, that this was all for something. And I don't think I'll ever forget that moment.
It was also amazing seeing everyone in our recruit and just seeing all the lines filled up. It was pretty crazy. I remember it. There was just so many people without just you'd never see so many recruit avatars in one place ever again. Alrighty.
Yeah.
On to the next question here. This is from Dr. Clue. And they ask, if you had to join a different branch, which regiment would you choose and why?
Ooh, that's tough. I mean, I came from the Army. For those that don't know, that's where I was before the Air Force was a thing. And for the longest time, I was in the Armored Division, which has different names, right? Different versions of the group. But then I did swap to the Irish because I was Irish, and they were new, so I wanted to give them representation and help them out a bit. So I would say I'd definitely go to the Army. I would also be general staff, so I wouldn't really be in any of them. So I don't know, maybe Armored or Irish. I can't decide between the two.
Can't decide. Well, hey, definitely, you were part of the Army at one point. I definitely remember that. I've shown a couple people some older videos, and then they're like, "Oh, there's Army Cobb," and it's like, "Yes, that is Army Cobb." So the last question to wrap this up. This is from Set BF57, and they ask, where did you get your name from? Some people don't know what your
my name.
From, so. How did you get your name?
Yes, a lot of people ask me about this name. So the name originates from my real name. So my real name is Keen O'Brien. It's spelled with a C. So C-O-B, Cobb. And that's always been a nickname that I've had throughout school and things like that. And one of the versions of the nickname that I had was the Cobfather, based on the Godfather, of course, which I used for a long time. But then eventually, I was at a friend's house and we were playing like an old game on the N64. I forget what. and we had to put in our usernames, and I tried to fit in the Cobfather, and it wouldn't fit. I was like, damn. And a friend suggested to me, you should put in the TheCobDad. And I thought that was the funniest thing ever. So ever since then, I just started using the TheCobDad instead.
Awesome. I love that story so much. It's very interesting because you never know where people come up with their ideas for their names. Sometimes simple, sometimes there's a whole story behind it. Well, that's all we have for today. So thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come answer some questions that people want to know, and hopefully we can have you as another interview sometime down the line. We'll ask some different questions.
Of course, anytime. Absolutely. I'd love to.
Awesome. All right, back to you guys. Back to you, anchors.
Well, that was interesting. It's always nice to learn some things about the TheCobDad. We always love hearing from the Sky Marshal here in the studio. With that, we're going to move on to our next story, Fab Festival, covered by our friend Young here.
Starting on July 29th, the British Armed Forces began the long-awaited Fab Summer Festival, a 3-day-long event consisting of sun, fun, and occasionally guns. The weekend-long event consisted of a wide variety of events involving beach hangouts, photo shoots, and even contests like the Bikini Battle Disc tournaments. For the more relaxed events, many people flocked to the various beach bashes and photo shoots hosted throughout the weekend. These provided an excellent opportunity for participants to show off their avatars in a casual setting and get to know each other in a fun, summer-themed way. As for the tournaments, friends battled each other head-to-head in events such as the Bikini Contest, Singles Pool Tournament, and the Battle Disc Tournament. Prizes range from cash rewards to custom-built trophies for the winners of the Bikini Contest and Singles Pool Tournament. As summer approaches its end, the British Armed Forces Fab Summer Festival provided an excellent capstone to a productive summer and a powerful kickoff for the remainder of the year. And now on to our financial expert, FriendlySouls, to talk to us about the Patreon and the server's income and expenses.
Thank you for that. Welcome to the Royal Mint section. I was sent here to talk about our earnings and our expenditures for July. As you can see at the graph behind me, the July earnings were almost $450 for this month. That's actually quite good. Our expenditures went to the Patreon subscriptions, the big green part over here, about 130-ish. Purchased assets, of course, for this month, we actually paid for the Bath Summer map that everyone enjoyed, and of course we improved on it as well afterwards, as well as the new boat for the Coast Guard that's coming soon. And finally, the tournament winnings. We have a small tournament, this one. I think the Field Marshal did a mini game tournament with prizes for the first and second, and of course there was a couple of fees in there, a couple of extras that we had to pay, but otherwise you can see in the graph, it's got a small section on the red part on the top right. And that's it for the Royal Mint. Now then, back to the anchors.
As we conclude with our final story of the evening from our financial expert, FriendlySouls, we just want to thank everyone for taking the opportunity to watch the first edition of the Royal News Network.
With that, thank you all for tuning in. We hope to do these more in the future. This is our new version of the newspaper, if you will. With that, good night, everyone. Enjoy your evenings.
Have a wonderful night.